Welcome to the Real Bible Discussion Group channel. Stay tuned as today we give an answer to the question, who created God?
Hello, welcome to the Real Bible Discussion Group. I'm Leo Alves, your host, and today we are here to answer to the question, who created God? And we're going to watch a video by John Lennox. John Lennox is a professor. He's a mathematician. He's a professor at the University of Oxford. He is a apologist. He's written several books. One of the books he's written is 7 Days That Divide the World. Links down below if you want to purchase. In this book, Lennox suggests that Christians can heed modern science knowledge while staying faithful to Bible beliefs and narratives. The other book he wrote that I highly recommend, it's called Undertaker, Has Science Buried God? The idea that science is the answer for everything is here carefully looked into it by John Lennox, and he suggests in his book that theism goes along with science much better than atheism. So without further ado, let's watch the video and see the answer for who created God. Is the best answer that I came across until these days. Comment down below if you agree. Let's watch the video and see what you think.
That's the question, who created God? And Dawkins has made it the heart of his book, The God Delusion. I was staggered when I found it there. What I mean about Russia, ladies and gentlemen, is I used to get this all the time at the Academy of Sciences when I was traveling out to Russia in the late 1980s, the early 1990s, you see. That it was almost the first question. If you believe that God created the universe, then logically you've got to ask the question, who created God? And then you have to ask, who created the God that created the God that created the God that created God that created God, and so on ad infinitum. And that was the end of God, of course. And that's exactly what Dawkins says in The God Delusion.
Okay, I'm pausing here to give you a little insight. Who is Dawkins that he's talking about? He's talking about Richard Dawkins. He is a biologist. He's a scientist who uses his background in science to try to debunk any ideas of existence of God and religions. And he wrote this book called The God Delusion, where he critiques the existence of God. And John Lennox is referencing this book here. Now let's continue.
Well, let's analyze it for a moment. Who created God? If you ask that question, it shows you've immediately categorized God as created. So you're talking about a created God. Now you imagine if Richard Dawkins had written a book called The Created God's Delusion. I don't think many people would have bought it, because I don't need him to tell me that created gods are a delusion. We usually call them idols, incidentally. But this question is extremely interesting because it's an illustration of a question that already rules out the explanation that's most likely to be true. Because the Christian claim is that God wasn't created. So if God was uncreated, in the beginning was the Word, and I'm coming to your 3-in-1 now, and I'm bringing it in obliquely. In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He already was. So the central Christian claim is, and in Judaism and Islam, of course, equally, is that God is eternal. So the question, by definition, doesn't even apply to him. And that's immensely important. The only way you can get anything out of it then in the negative sense is to assume that everything is in the category of the created, but that's just begging the original question. And the Greeks were interested in it. And that's why John's gospel starts with those words. In the beginning, the Word already was. And then it says, all things came to be through him. The Greeks were interested in the question of two categories: the things that came to be, the created things, and the things that already were. And the question resolves down to this: is there a thing or a being that never came to be? And that is the Christian claim. And he's called God. But there's a little codicil to that.
Well, there you have it, my friends. Who created God? Well, next time you are asked this question, the answer to me, it's obvious. God wasn't created. So you're talking about the wrong God here. You're not talking about the God of the Bible. Because the God of the Bible, the claim that we have from the Bible, and I'm going to post scriptures here that shows that God was eternal, is eternal. So when somebody asks you the question, who created God, he's talking about a different God, a created God, which is not the God of the Bible. So I hope you liked it. Watch the video. Leave your comments down below if you agree. If you don't agree, leave them as well. I'd like to read them, respond to them if I can, if I see them. And I'll see you on the next video.